Last time, Tenko was accused of committing suicide. Kaito went full Kamina mode. Kokichi had an honest, open, and emotionally frank discussion of views, and we appear to be at the point where we have to lie. Speaking of not lying...
We're the Bittersweet Gamers! I'll jump in on that.
Good enough! I'm the opinionator!
And I'm We Squid!
So, since we had stopped so abruptly, a proper reason. A reason to believe in Tenko.
All right, I'll give you a reason.
Is there a reason?
Yes, there is. Will you trust me, Maki?
I.e., you know that I've lied before, so you know what I'm asking.
Yeah.
If it turns out I'm wrong, you can blame me all you like.
And by saying this to Maki, he's saying, all right, I'm going to say something that you know isn't true. You specifically have the expertise to know this. Okay, so you know this one doesn't actually bother me?
I've heard that many people think that the lying mechanic was implemented specifically for Chapter 3.
Really?
Yeah. And that they just didn't have as good a reason to implement it in the other chapters.
Okay.
But for now, I need you to trust in my detective work.
I don't believe Tenko would kill herself because of what she said.
Okay, everyone. I'll see you guys after the seance.
She said, see you guys after. I doubt she had a sudden change of heart. Just because we don't know how she was killed doesn't mean that it was suicide. We shouldn't be satisfied with that. And if we keep thinking, we'll find the truth. And that means we have to believe in Tenko, just like Kaito said. And this time, if it requires a lie, I'm not going to argue with it. Because this is the truth.
Yeah!
Tenko would not have killed herself. I'll make them all believe. No matter what it takes.
Yeah, let's do it!
This is a lie to believe in Tenko. Whatever that's going to be.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her.
No.
Not at all.
So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person! But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance. She could have secretly brought the sickle
How do I break this?
and then stabbed herself with it.
I don't think you can.
Finally, with the last of her strength,
Oh.
she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces fit.
Well, if Tenko's last moments was Tenko died instantly, then that would counteract what Korikiyo just said.
Yeah, because it said Tenko died instantly,
Yeah.
so she has no other strength. What were the other ones? Well, that seems to be it.
That seems to be most explicitly it.
It's just when I was well, let's go through it one more time. It's ridiculous. We can't just assume we're right.
Yeah.
So far, suicide seems to be the best
It's
explanation.
just I looked at the other ones and I was
Her
like,
plan was to take us down with her.
none of these seem relevant to
So
what it
she hid
is
her
that
true
we're trying to
intentions.
prove.
Yeah.
Tenko's not that kind of person!
Because it's obviously a lie that we
Right.
have
But
to
if
do.
Tenko did commit
They
suicide,
just didn't say so.
it would explain how she died during the seance.
Right? I don't see how...
She could have secretly
That
brought
has
the
to be
sickle
it, right?
That's the only thing I can
and
think
then
of.
stabbed herself with it.
Okay, I'm just gonna go for it.
Finally, with the last of
Boom! We were right.
I'll reveal the truth.
Woo!
Yeah.
Tenko couldn't have thrown the sickle under the floor.
I mean, we had even started griping about this throwing the sickle under the floor.
Also, Maki was the one who said she didn't die instantly. She was the one who had experience with wounds.
Yeah,
And
that's exactly what I was talking about when I said he went to Maki, who has known that he would lie
Yeah.
if he had to, and said, okay, trust me, Maki.
Well, right. I just made that specific connection.
Right. That's exactly why he said that. By like, okay, you can blame me later if I'm wrong, but we're going to go with this. Because again, the Tenko yeets the sickle across the room through the open floorboard that she leaned back on. If this is what it takes to make people shut up about that, although I don't really think it's right, I mean, instrumentally, this is the easiest way to get us there.
Yeah.
Because she died instantly.
Instantly?
Oh, she didn't? Are you concerned about that part?
Yeah.
I mean, the way that Kokichi will tell lies to draw stuff out, that's fine. But he's not making, like, a life or death assertion.
Yeah.
He's, like, doing a, like, multiple dimension, quadruple, double blind test. Her death might not have been instant, but she couldn't have gone far before she bled out.
I'm certain of it. My investigation determined that she died instantly.
That's interesting that there's speculation that the lying mechanic straight up came just for that moment. But that was a good moment.
Yeah.
That was a good moment to do it.
What's your opinion, Maki? I'd like to hear from someone who specializes in murder.
Murder.
Maki.
Can't everybody tell, though, that this is a lie?
What are you talking about? There's absolutely no tells whatsoever.
Kokichi is going to, just like every other time, be like, you guys are lying. He's probably going to call us out on it.
You're right. I completely forgot about that important detail.
To be fair, I still think that stabbing oneself in the neck using a controlled amount of body weight after delivering a mortal wound to the back of one's own neck to move a heavy floorboard that you just discovered would move with your own, with you shifting your own balance, reaching deep under there with the murder weapon and somehow yeeting it across the entire room from that position. I do think that's fairly hard to believe. But if that's too complicated an argument for this point...
Tenko died instantly.
What?
As an assassin, I specialize in killing my targets swiftly. I have no doubt that Tenko was killed immediately.
Words of a true killer. Pretty sure we can believe everything she said.
Yeah, because he's got to point it all out after the fact in the final confrontation.
Maybe. That might happen, it might not. What Billy was referencing was an idea, we don't like the lying. Agree to disagree if you like, but I'll defend that point to the death. I will never change my position on that as a moral argument.
Yeah.
But what just happened, that one was fine, okay? So when confronted with how frustrating that was, like Billy theorized that because different people would be the beneficiary of Shuichi's well-intentioned lies throughout the game, that near the end of the game, since the survivors at this point would know that Shuichi is willing to lie, that at some point Kokichi would say, because the situation would allow it and call for it, Kokichi would say, well, we can't believe Shuichi. It's cool that he's saying what he's saying, but every last one of us knows that he'll lie if he has to. So the lying would then kind of come around, and at that point it would be interesting. Billy obliquely referenced that as if everyone here would know the intimate details of a theory that was said one time.
Do you guys not know how to tap into the morphogenetic field?
I'm not so sure that's going to happen, but I would be satisfied if it did. But in any case, that lie right there does not bother me at all. It's also less obvious. Maybe Kokichi can't even tell. I kind of doubt that, but...
I mean, look at this line.
Yeah, okay, no, he saw right through it. Thank you, Maki. Nobody look at my relieved face, or you'll instantly realize the jig is up.
How could you forget that, Maki Roll? You better apologize to Shuichi.
Don't rub it in, Kaito. Don't rub it in.
You realize that when you said that, every last person here realized that Shuichi was lying.
Excuse me?
It's okay, Kaito, really. No apology necessary. Anyway, Tenko died so suddenly that she couldn't have gotten rid of the sickle. Knowing that, the theory that she killed herself just doesn't fit, correct?
Just like I thought. Tenko wouldn't commit suicide.
Because Tenko wouldn't commit suicide. The longer we waste our time arguing on that obviously wrong point and going into a general discursus on human nature, the less time we have to finger the effing killer. Honestly, the killer, who again we believe is Korekiyo for both, is doing a pretty good job. A lot more competent than they usually are.
Like scarily competent.
Thank goodness, Himiko.
Which means someone definitely killed Tenko during the seance.
Her suicide was considered because we could not determine how she was killed.
Well, let's talk more about that. There's a few things that have not been brought up.
No, there must have been a way. We're gonna figure it out.
Did any of the participants witness anything peculiar during the seance?
Well, there was that loud noise.
Yeah, that part seems kind of important.
If you know something, please speak up. It could be the key to solving this mystery.
Granted, that noise just proves that she was killed during the seance by one of the people in the seance, so we're just back to square one.
Well, also you could say, now hold on a second. This fits the suicide theory perfectly. Are you guys sure she died instantly?
Yes.
Because, you know, the key part of that is opening the floorboards and, like, dead angle pitching accurately. Like, why not just drop it? It's that she would have had to have pitched it to the other side of the room.
Yeah.
So you could say that this just proves that the floorboards were opened, but the floorboards were opened during the seance regardless of what any argument anybody has says, so we need to figure out why, which of course we already know the answer.
Right.
Yeah, not a bad idea. This is the direction that we need to go. We should remember what happened at the seance. Let me try to remember. I'm sure there's something really important and suspicious that made us scream when it happened.
Yeah.
I need some kind of clue. Some kind of clue that will help me solve this mystery.
Oh, so we know what the bullet is.
Yeah, it's either...
Did anything seem out of the ordinary during the seance?
There is something that bothers me.
Either the sound or maybe...
The fact that the seance failed.
No, that's not important.
The ritual was perfect, and yet it failed.
Agree!
How utterly strange.
Yeah, he has to keep saying
Now
this.
that I think about it, while we were all singing the song,
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I heard something.
There it is.
fall,
There it is.
Uh-huh.
I think.
I'm more concerned about how dark it got in there.
What?
I mean, it was totally pitch black.
Yeah, it was supposed to be.
My job was to relight the candles.
Okay.
Moving along the walls was seriously tough.
Solid contribution, Kokichi.
Okay, well, I guess we know what to do then.
Did anything seem out of the ordinary?
Now that I think about
This
it,
is such a pointless...
Right?
while we were all singing the song,
Like, it's full of idiocy.
I heard something.
Bam!
You nicked it.
agree.
I've only missed one V counter.
Quite excellent.
Thanks, Armored Core.
Himiko, you think that something fell because of that sound you heard, right?
No, that may have been the... Well, I'll wait for that. That nonstop debate may have been the greatest nonstop debate of all time. It starts with Korekiyo babbling about something utterly pointless, and then it ends with Kokichi babbling about the most banal thing ever. And there's like a point. Well, because the seance being perfect is not the point.
Right.
I mean, I guess you could use the caged child to agree with him, and he'd be like, right? The seance was perfect, wasn't it? And then we don't get to move on.
Right.
I wonder if we could have agreed that the seance was perfect.
Probably. I mean, there are other places you can lie to get the back route and get like extra scenes. Not worth it though.
Anyway,
It sounded like something heavy fell down and hit the floor really hard.
Uh-huh. And we know what that was.
Yep.
What could have fallen down?
A big thick floorboard with 115-pound Tenko on it.
Fallen down? There wasn't anything on the ceiling that could have fallen down, right?
Right. Unless we're going with my idea that it was Ninja Nantaro stealth camouflaged up on the ceiling.
No.
Am I wrong? I thought something fell, but...
Well, actually what he said was nothing from the ceiling could have fallen down.
The sound was pretty loud. It did seem like something hit the floorboards.
Uh-huh. Huh. A loud sound. Like something hit the floorboard.
Hey bro, why are you talking like that?
Sorry, Ed. Haven't quite got my voice all the way back from that cold. Maybe that sound had something to do with the other thing that happened in the dark?
Huh?
What other thing that happened in the dark?
The murder?
That's the only other thing that happened, right?
Right?
Is it...
What's the question?
Is it not this? What caused the sound?
Oh yeah, it
the
must be that.
floorboard.
It must be that.
This is it!
Whew.
I think the floorboard coming off had something to do with that sound.
Yeah!
That floorboard came loose at some point during the seance, right?
Would the floorboard have made such a loud sound, though?
With the Tenko on it, it would have.
It was the sound of an intense impact.
If the impact was that intense, then it could have loosened the floorboard.
You know, you walk up, you have to stomp it pretty hard because there's someone on it.
Yeah.
That is true. There would have had to be a...
Would there?
There would have had to be a strong impact to make that sound. But what was it? What could it possibly be? Huh. Is there something that we're missing?
No, I don't think so.
Ah, that's it. That's where this is going. We haven't talked about this, like, literally at all, and have just kind of been assuming it, but it's never been brought up. So that's surely...
All right, then. Let's go with that. We all gotta put our heads together now.
There's a lot of these this time.
Yeah.
Crosspiece under
So what
the
made the
floor,
floorboard come loose?
dried blood.
Judging from the sound, there must have been considerable force.
Someone who participated in the seance.
Right?
Maybe that person tore off the floorboard.
That wouldn't make such a loud crashing sound.
Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
No.
But that statue was still on top of the cage.
I like how they've been agreed
Culprit
points.
hide under floor.
No, we already addressed
Then
this.
stood up with such might.
How surreal!
We already said there was no one under the floor.
And it's another agree point.
Someone must have stomped through the floorboard.
There we go.
A floorboard that comes loose when you step on it is dangerous. God, it's like I'm the only one here who's staying on the ball.
You hardly have any experience with balls to say that, Mew.
Don't be stupid. Don't you know me and Balls are the best of friends?
No. Okay, well, I mean, this one seems pretty straightforward.
Maybe that person tore off the floorboard.
That wouldn't make such a loud crashing sound.
I like how Miyu's the one shooting
Maybe
everything
the
down.
wooden statue fell over.
But that statue was still on top of the cage.
Then stood up with such might.
With such might!
But we already said there was no one under the floor.
Impossible!
Someone must have stomped
There
through
you go. Bam!
I
Man,
agree.
I missed a V point earlier in the trial.
Kokichi is right. The floorboard came loose because someone stomped on it.
And I bounced off the wall in Psych Taxi. How embarrassing.
The floorboards fit perfect. Going to make sure first time we go to empty room.
Oh, ho, 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 ho! I had forgotten that. So
Yeah!
now we definitely know that you can't say that it was like this from way back when.
Yeah.
It was set up. I guess that personal injury from making a mistake must be the explanation for that weird dried blood then.
Yeah.
When we first saw the room, yes. But when I looked again during the investigation, one of the cross pieces supporting the floorboards was cut off. After examining the cut, I concluded that it must have been done deliberately.
Right.
Someone? You mean the culprit, right? Why'd they do that?
To set this up?
Yeah.
Honestly, this is the killer evidence, so of course it comes up at the end.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Like, the more you hammer this point, the more you just point right at the killer.
Right.
What did the culprit stand to gain by cutting the crosspiece?
What indeed?
Oh, you don't understand this point? You wish to protest? The culprit gained the ability to raise the person on the marker stone on the other end of the floorboard
high enough to stab them
through the cage. What did they stand to gain? That's the question, because even though BSG does understand it, who knows where this game will want them to start. To solve this case, I'll need to think carefully about the crosspiece and floorboard to play Hangman's Gambit. Tenko's body was at one end of the loose floorboard, and the crosspiece that had been cut was on the other end of the floorboard. The unsupported part was outside the cage, so it could have been stomped on.
Come on.
Only one of the crosspieces was cut. The other two were intact. So when stomped on, one of them was right under Tenko, and the other was in the center, right about where the edge of the cage was. And all of this was set up in advance by one person.
Yeah.
What was the culprit attempting to achieve by stomping on the floorboard? Think. Come on. Think!
Oh, you were right.
Well, of course it's Hangman's Gambit. We haven't done that yet. But I have no idea what it's gonna be.
That's a good question.
What happened when the loose floorboard was stepped on?
Flipped up? No. Raised? There's no R's though.
E-S-W-A...
S, start with the S, start with the S.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now the W. Maybe swing or swung?
No, but you're right about the W, I bet.
Oh, dang.
Okay. Fair enough, fair enough. Sawed. Sawed. Where's, darn it, there's one.
Yeah.
No?
Well then E then. That's the only other freaking vowel we've seen.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, seesaw?
Seesaw. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Alright.
It's that, right?
Yeah. We need a W.
There's one. Okay, but what's this one? C-F-S...
Fulcrum? Well, there's not enough letters.
No, and there's no R. There's a C... F... Is that a T?
It looked like a T. That was a T.
F-E-T... Ah!
Tef. Raft. No.
Seesaw. I don't know.
Effect. Seesaw effect. E-F-F-E-T-T.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. There we go. Man, this one was nasty.
All right.
Yeesh.
Goodness.
That's right. The floorboard might have been used as a seesaw.
Huh? A seesaw?
Yeah, not a word I
The
frequently
crosspiece
use.
at one end of the floorboard had been cut off. The other two cross pieces holding up that board were close to the cage. Meaning, if you were to apply force to the end of the floorboard with no crosspiece,
Ta-da!
the next crosspiece would act as a fulcrum to turn the floorboard into a lever.
And that's what the noise was. Crunch, right here.
A lever capable of lifting up Tenko's entire body.
Or when it fell back down, one of the two.
Yeah, either. Well, I guess when it fell back down would have been the noise. At this point, you, with one hand, lift the sheet right in front, and then with the other hand, pow, with the sickle.
That should be possible. According to this diagram, it looks like the statue might be in the way.
No, it's through the side, not the top.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I understand it's the back of her neck, but if we were right about everything else, why are we suddenly wrong about it now?
Fair enough.
Her whole body lifted up?
Yeah, it was obvious.
Yeah, that sounds like a seesaw, all right. But why bother lifting Tenko's body?
They couldn't have killed Tenko like that. Unless they used the sickle.
Well, as it turns out,
yeah,
they did use the sickle.
That's exactly it. Using the seesaw trick, it was possible to kill Tenko with a sickle.
I'm not sure I've said the word seesaw for like 25 years. I guess I've probably read it in the last 15, maybe.
Huh? How?
In order for the culprit to kill Tenko with a seesaw trick, the placement of the sickle is the most important factor.
The floorboard seesaw, the cage, and the blood on the white fabric. What conclusions can I draw from this? There's only one place the sickle could have been that is consistent with the evidence. So, if it does have something to do with the statue after all...
Let's look at the cage.
Though I did initially mention the idea that there is a weapon in there, but...
Okay. Look at the top of the cage. There's like a little raised bar thing. It's possible that when Korikiyo put the sheet on, he propped the sickle in that little space, put the sheet over it so that the sickle was facing down, and then when they put the dog statue on top of it, that way she could have bounced into it, and then afterwards when he took this sheet off, he also took the sickle off and then disposed of it while they were all distracted with Tenko's body.
Okay, I suppose that could actually be right. I had been this whole time assuming that he had just had it on him and whacked her.
Yeah.
But the reason is because, God, my voice still cracks. I'll never get it back.
Dude, I've had this cold for like 2 weeks. Good luck.
Yeah, but I have to use my voice. Yeah, this is the World War I of colds. It never ends. We both still have it. We're mostly fine, but periodically it still comes back.
Yeah.
I hate it. Just like I hate World War I. Anyway, the thing was, Maki said, you can hide one of these in your clothes.
Yeah.
And so I just went with that. But the evidence, the truth bullet itself doesn't say that.
Right.
It doesn't have anything to do with that. Hiding it in your clothes, I mean. But what you say is right. To get it in the back of the neck with the statue on top, like
now that we have a better idea of where she is in relation to everything.
I suppose the thing that I had been missing. Darn it, Billy, I keep asking every so often, are we missing anything really important? And you're like, I bet we are, or no. Why didn't you notice it then?
Well, I'm so sorry I failed my perception check. I should have taken 10.
Was it really that simple? Surely the DC would have been higher. Anyway, just the injury on the back of her neck, that this whole time I really thought that he'd lifted the sheet and just swung it through the side and sort of missed that part. Well, so did you.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I didn't think about it till just now.
Well, you know, seeing the image makes you go, huh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we are then. The top of the cage.
That's it!
That would get the injury right where it needs to be.
Uh-huh.
The sickle was at the top of the iron cage, with the blade facing down.
And that way Korekiyo wouldn't get bloody.
Yep.
Now, when would he have put it there? I suppose with the sheet.
Yeah, that's the only time he would have had to. And if he was big enough and dramatic enough with it, like with the sheet, he could easily obscure his motions, you know?
Maybe so.
I mean, that's the only place and time he could have. Because even with the candles on, it was still dark and hard to see.
You know, that's true. We were so sure that it was him, we hadn't considered that at all. That he wouldn't be able to see in there. Yeah, we really never did consider that at all, did we? Darn it, this is why I keep saying, is there something we're forgetting? Oh well, however, as soon as it came up...
Yeah, we pieced it together.
Yep, it had to have been Korekiyo. Couldn't have happened in any other place.
And that's why he was so adamant about being the one to remove the sheet.
Of course, well, we knew that at the time. We were just kind of wrong about the particular details, thought maybe that's when he wiped it.
Yeah.
The reason we didn't see it was because of the fabric covering the cage. Also, the wooden statue kept the blade in place.
See, we were thinking that he stomped on it, but the image we got here
was a jump.
Yeah, was this like, leap into the air, ground, pound, death hit, which is not quite what we saw, but that would be necessary if that was the killing blow itself.
Mm-hmm.
Furthermore, having a 175-pound statue up there braces it nicely.
Oh, yeah.
It's true that the sickle's handle was thick, which made the statue wobble. But the statue's weight kept it from falling over.
Oh, just like I said.
Yep.
Once everything was in place, if you stepped hard enough on the seesaw, Tenko's body would have shot upward and hit the blade on the top of the cage.
And of course, it was literally all set up in advance.
Yeah.
Like precisely marked. In fact, the blade being...
She was bent over, meaning the sickle's blade would have connected with her neck.
The blade being there, like it not being walk up and hit her with it, but it actually being set up in the trap makes it even more obvious. Like, the presence of the sickle was extremely dangerous for him then.
Yeah.
Because it was unquestionably the murder weapon. And that's why we never talked about it, because, I mean, he certainly didn't want us to.
The 6-inch sickle blade wasn't long enough to stab Tenko in her crouch position. But with the floorboard acting as a seesaw, it could compensate for the blade's length.
Bringing the victim to the sickle rather than bringing the sickle to the victim. That's definitely an unorthodox idea.
It's crazy, but it would explain how Tenko got stabbed while she was in the cage.
So the sound we heard was the culprit stomping on the floorboard.
So it definitely wasn't Himiko.
Again, it's Korekiyo.
I mean, I doubt even Kokichi's heavy enough to do something like that.
Oh yeah, well, Tenko is bigger than Kokichi.
Yeah.
I happen to know that Kokichi... I happen to remember his weight because he's a 97-pound weakling.
That impact make floorboard come loose.
Looks like we got ourselves a good old-fashioned seesaw homicide.
What?
Has this happened before? Have you encountered this?
Wait, what the hell's a seesaw homicide? That's fucking crazy!
The craziness is what really makes the killing game fun, you know?
No.
See, when he says things like this, it just provides me more evidence that he's trying to entertain himself while doing a test of some kind.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, he's just entertaining himself.
Even if there isn't some grander purpose.
But doesn't it make it look like he's kind of high up in the hierarchy here?
Yeah.
Instead of just a participant?
Yeah.
They can't get away with murder the normal way, so they gotta think outside the box. Kudos, culprit! You did a great job keeping me entertained.
Funny that he said it that way.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well played, Himiko.
Are you friggin' serious? You're really going there, man.
Well, he's not just gonna admit it.
Well, no, but by throwing such an obviously impossible accusation, isn't that just gonna make him more suspicious?
Well, he can't really get out of it at this point, so even though you just said no when I said he can't admit it, he might do what you said he was gonna do a couple episodes ago and admit it.
Fair enough. Okay, yeah. All right.
Mind bending. Yeah, I guess the thing is we are about to pin it on him.
But that's not the end.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, it matters, and not just for wanting to know who it was. I suppose that's our Act 3 of the trial.
Yeah.
Or Act 2, I suppose, but the intermission is between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't gotten to the intermission.
That's true.
So there must be more of this left than we thought.
Yeah?
Yeah, anyway, no, it's not her.
It was you, wasn't it? The one behind the seesaw homicide.
She's the only person that he can accuse.
Right.
But the writing's on the wall. It's not that much longer, but this right here is what we need. Like that and Caged Child will pretty much show that he's the only person who could have done it.
Yeah.
Huh? Why her?
Because she's the only one capable of carrying out this plan.
What?
Huh?
The only one? Why's that?
I'm kind of interested to hear what he has to say.
Because this seesaw homicide required its location to be prepared beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. But dude, we knew you were going to use this defense long ago.
Yeah.
But Kokichi saved the day by making sure to get the extra details about Caged Child. There weren't any, but there might have been.
Right.
And we needed to go check it. So he let us know that it was done correctly. And he also did this. If he hadn't done it when he did, we wouldn't have had that information and you would have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
Remember at the time in the investigation, I was like, we have got to go check the other rooms. Because I knew that if the other rooms were prepared, then it had to have been Korekiyo, and that's why he asked Himiko.
By cutting the crosspiece beneath the floorboard, you mean?
Then the culprit would need to lure their victim into the prepared room.
Anyway, I understand what he's saying, but it could not have been this.
There's just one very important factor.
How would she have known that there was going to be a seance?
Well, I was going to say, how could she have possibly lifted Tenko high enough with her puny little weight?
Oh yeah, Tenko outweighs her, let alone the...
Yeah.
Well, she might have been able to do it, but I don't think that's the issue. How would she have known where to put it? How would she have known there was gonna be a seance? Yeah, she selected the room, but so?
She also had no step in any of the preparation other than carrying the dog statue.
Yeah.
That is why you chose that room for the seance. Is it not, Himiko?
It's like he's just proceeding down the pre-set plan that he came up with. Because of course you should have a plan set if you're going to do this.
Yeah.
It's too clean and there are too many steps and it's all too pretty. Like it really makes Korekiyo stand out as suspicious. However, there are 3 empty rooms. Which one shall we use?
The middle room. The middle room's always best for stuff like this.
Oh yeah! Himiko was the one who chose the site for the seance!
She likely found out about my plans for the seance somehow.
Oh, somehow!
The thing was, he was waiting for someone to say it. It wouldn't have mattered who it was who said it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have mattered. That's, like, the victim didn't matter and the person he was gonna frame for this didn't matter. That was his defense.
You were quite vocal about the seance, Kyo. You even had instructions for it in your lab.
Our culprit, Himiko, prepared her seesaw trap ahead of time.
Yeah.
Vibrating with evil glee.
Then she waited for me to host the seance and suggested the middle room.
I'm filled with malevolence.
No, I think that's a cat girl joke.
She led us all into holding the seance right where she wanted it.
You can tell it's false because that's not a Danganronpa culprit image.
Then, she killed Tenko, all according to plan.
I don't understand how she could have put the sickle there, but, I mean, we got something else for you, though.
That's a lie, right? Himiko did such a thing?
In the end, Himiko, who Tenko cherished and loved, tragically killed her.
Wait! We don't know that, right? He's wrong, right, Himiko? Himiko would never kill Tenko, right?
Right.
Kill Tenko?
She'd never do that.
I killed Tenko?
Ah. She absorbs things from other people. That's how she makes it through life. I don't mean to go like, nah. She has some special mental defect. This is a normal thing.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I was just reading about this the other day. Mimetic desire, like a social scientist who, remember I talked to you about this?
Yeah, that does sound familiar.
Like, this isn't to say that she has some type of weird supernatural defect or something that's like really blown out of proportion. It's just a regular, normal thing. She has a very weak personality and doesn't express herself strongly at all. Mm-hmm. But the people that she liked to be around and was attracted to, regardless of anything else she did, were people who have very strong personalities who kind of do have it all figured out. That's why she gravitated to Angie, because Angie would answer all her questions for her and make everything easier. Mm-hmm. She began to absorb the robophobic comments from Kokichi and started doing them randomly in the last chapter.
Right.
It's just because she has a weak personality, and this is like a semi-social way of
shoring it up, sort of like reinforcing it with other people's personality traits,
reinforcing her place in the group despite her despite her personality that tends to be in the background and isn't going to make any big moves.
I see.
So here she's like, well, everybody else is telling me that I did it. I guess I did it.
Himiko?
What's wrong, Himiko?
It is true that using the middle room was Himiko's idea, but does that mean that Himiko really killed Tenko? Of course not, but the thing I'm worried about right now is that Himiko is going to admit it.
Yeah.
Social pressure on someone who doesn't have any mechanisms to resist social pressure will will make people volunteer to lie on their own so as not to go against social pressure.
Yeah.
As a contrarian iconoclast, none of this has any power over me whatsoever. Consequently, I'm paranoid and isolated, but at least I can see through things like this. What an even trade!
But for someone like Himiko,
if she gets it in her head that she has to suddenly believe the pressure, then she'll just turn the switch and believe in Atua's grace fully.
Yeah.
Would something like that really happen? Or did Kokichi do something to save the day, anticipating this point? Something so cruel.
Oh.
Intermission now, huh?
Well now.
Looks like we've reached the intermission segment, which means it's time for our Guess the Victim quiz! Yay!
The victim was Tenko and Angie.
Good guess, you got it!
Yeah!
A victim quiz? Not a culprit quiz?
The only victims are the people who are still watching this drawn-out, boring crap. What are any of you seeing this stuff?
Why are you being such a downer all of a sudden?
Haven't you been paying attention, Monophony? Ever since the beginning of the game, for various reasons, I've poo-pooed every aspect of the class trial. I don't even like it. By the way, did we ever figure out who killed Nantaro, or are we still arguing about that?
It's okay.
I am sure everyone is happy.
How do you know? They could be skipping this entire conversation for all you know.
Father, I love you very much, but that was my line.
Whoops!
Oh, I can't take it! I can't take it anymore! I'm the real victim here! Me! I'm one of those people who just can't stand any type of conversation in games, and that's why I'm cursed by being put in a visual novel! Oh, kill me! Wait a minute, that might really happen. Motodom's either gonna kill me, or maybe I'm going to kill him. Hey, let's guess that! That'll be a good quiz!
Why are you getting upset?
Because I hate everything!
If anything, I'm the real victim! I gotta put up with all this nonsense all the time!
Absolutely right!
That's the right answer, Monodem! Why? He hasn't said anything!
Hey,
Exactly! 'Cause there are no victims!
Everyone reaps what they sow?
Yup! Even if you're killed in this killing game, you're a winner! 'Cause then everyone mourns you, and you get tons of posthumous popularity!
No, I don't think so. I think that happens to the killers more often than the victims. Well, I guess there are some characters that applies to. Posthumous popularity due to mourning, it has been like a kind of important aspect of character popularity for a long time.
That makes sense.
The downside is it does have a limit. Eventually, the expiration date after the expiration.
That was pretty morbid.
It can only go so far in the future before, new stuff happens and you move on.
Daddy!
Oh, Daddy! You don't need to reveal these kinds of behind-the-scenes details!
I mean, I'm pretty sure that almost the entire cast of 1 and 2, their popularity was going to be set in stone regardless of who died or killed.
All right!
Dying makes you more popular? Then we gotta die soon too. I volunteer. Wait a minute. I'd better think about this one very carefully. I feel a chill. Oh no.
This is my impression of a spooky, scary ghost.
Ah! I'm fine with real ghosts, but impressions of them are too scary!
Okay.
Logic does not compute.
Agreed.
Huh? Did you hear something?
I feel a cold wind.
No, I didn't hear anything.
Oh, Monodem. I hope you survive.
You know what else is scary? Sweet buns. Yep, tasty, tasty sweet buns.
The only thing scary about it is the carb count.
Ah!
So round, so sweet, so delicious.
That doesn't sound scary at all.
I'm scared too. Scared of losing my friends.
Huh? Did you hear something?
A cold wind.
No, I didn't hear anything.
See, either Monodum is going to be the one who is now on the outs and dies, which would be a great sadness.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be Monotaro. We'll see how good of a red he really is, but I mean, he kind of sucks. He's literally the worst and the least interesting of the Mono Cubs. Probably because his gag is hating everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have given him a different voice if I would have known.
Anyway, moving on.
Right. No, it was not Himiko. I'm trying to think how much further we want to go. We'll go further. Not too much further, though.
Answer us, Himiko. You chose the middle room to lure us into your trap, did you not?
Well said. Speaking of traps...
Then you used that trap to kill Tenko, yes?
No.
Well, Donkey Lips, did you kill that twat?
Wait, must be some mistake. No way Himiko is culprit.
Then she needs to defend herself. Otherwise, this debate is deadlocked.
Yeah, just like with Shuichi in the first trial. At some point, she has to, say, no, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I'm sure she's going to say, yes, it was me, and we're going to have to jump in to say, no, it wasn't!
She's just too psychologically damaged.
Maybe so.
I don't care if you gotta use magic to do it, but say something already.
Yeah.
Are you even listening?
No, I'm not listening.
I hope I'm wrong about that assessment of absorbing, social pressure.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I don't care anymore. I'm too tired.
She already used up her anger, but it'll come back when we get the culprit.
Angie died. Tenko died. Why did I have to survive?
Well, seeing as though you did, now you have to.
Yeah.
And now, you're all saying I killed them?
Danganronpa V3. Subtitle is Take a Dump All Over Himiko and Ruin Her Life.
Right?
We never really expected it. I thought she was going to be more of a one-off gag character who wouldn't make it very long.
But man, if she wasn't just integral to everything.
She's almost the central character. Almost.
Almost, yeah.
I just don't care anymore.
You have every right to complain about anything.
Himiko.
Do whatever. If you want to vote for me, then just go ahead.
That's not quite saying I did it, but that's a much better result than the one I was afraid of.
The game gets really blah if the suspect isn't into it.
Yeah, listen to her. Do you think she's trying to fool you?
That's not the problem.
Damn it. Don't tell me you've given up.
Himiko, don't give up.
I know, but it's too late for that. The only thing that can get her through this, I think, is rage.
Yeah, she needs to get riled up.
Anything other than burning fire of fury and maybe even hate, anything other than that, it'll just make her collapse. If she can keep herself going for long enough on those extremely negative emotions, the difference is at least she'll have kept herself going. Maybe after enough time has passed, there will have been other good things that have happened to her.
Yeah.
And from there she can recover. But as it stands, without that, how much can a person take? Never mind if Himiko is weak or strong, how much can a person take? I'm not justifying giving up, I'm saying I understand it. We all think that we wouldn't want to give up in that situation, and who knows how many of us would or wouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. But it'd be so hard. I mean, I don't even know what I'd do if, tomorrow I wake up and everyone in my immediate family died.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'd be more than a wreck for a while.
Don't you understand? My life is riding on the outcome of this trial!
Let me see that duct tape that had Angie's hair and blood on it again real quick. Let me just put it right on her mouth there. Okay, we're good.
Just shut up. I told you, I'm too tired. It's all just a big pain. I can't put up with it anymore.
What are you talking about? If you give up here...
I know, I get it, but this is not the time for that, and Gonta needs to shut up too.
Yeah.
I really like this style, but this style is not going to work on Himiko right now.
Right.
You needn't worry. Himiko was the one who chose that room. Therefore, she is unmistakably the culprit.
And now he's going to be like, but it doesn't matter who killed Tenko. We need to find out who killed Angie.
Impossible! Himiko would never kill Tenko! Himiko not that kind of person. Gonta can tell by Himiko's face.
No one was doubting.
Himiko's a little slow, so I don't think she's capable of handling a complicated crime.
No one with donkey lips would ever concoct some sort of plan like that.
I also think Himiko's not the culprit. Somehow.
Also her weight!
I'm not so sure that matters so much. Well, the difference isn't that great. I'd be more concerned about her athleticism than her weight. Well, I mean, it's like 30 pounds.
Yeah, but she has to generate enough force to stomp on it like that. Like, it's not just a straight, like, weight comparison. She has to be able to generate a lot of force.
But she can jump on it, and the force comes from the fulcrum. Also, if the blade is sharp, all that has to happen is she has to just make contact with it.
Okay, fair enough, but there's still other things we can talk about.
I don't think that's a meaningless type of inquiry, but I don't think that's the main one.
Either way, we gotta look for more possibilities.
I mean, I can refute some of this.
Right?
Anybody?
That does seem like rather a pointless quest.
Uh-huh, yeah, you want it to end here.
No, it's not. We gotta be strong. Gotta keep thinking. Then we might find new truth.
Uh-huh.
So no give up, Himiko!
At the very least, he's understood the basics of the class trial by this point.
Yes.
And that people may lie. Now, if only he could understand that those around him like to take advantage of him. Himiko, I know how you feel. I felt the same way after Kaede died. But we can't give up. We survived. We can't give up. For the sake of everyone who died. It's the only way there will be any meaning to it.
Oh, dang.
Well, let's see. I don't want to stop here, but maybe we might? Let's see what we get. Bloody
Performing the seance in that room was Himiko's decision, was it not?
What if someone steered her into picking that room?
Whoa.
Of the 3 empty rooms.
Yeah.
Why did you select the middle one, Himiko? Because you laid your trap there?
Yeah, the others don't matter.
Was trap only in that room?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Other rooms may be trapped too.
Yes. I mean, that's the one.
Even
Yeah,
if
that's the
Himiko
one, right.
picked the room, someone else could have set that trap.
Your opinions are empty words.
Again, Kokichi saved the day.
Yep.
You know what? We should just go ahead and stop here.
Okay.
I know it sucks.
Oh man, I'm gonna be looking forward to the next recording session all week now, just to shove it down his throat. The gusto, the glee, the satisfaction that I will feel when we're like, no you!
Perhaps Himiko will go over and start beating on him. Well, I don't think she knows how.